Here is an update on what's going on in with Venezuela. This is from Democracy Now! U.S. announces new sanctions on Venezuela as Lima Group opposes military intervention. Vice President Mike Pence met with Venezuela's self-proclaimed president, Juan Guaido, Monday during a meeting of the Lima Group in Bogota, Colombia. This is from Democracy Now! Pence announced new sanctions against Venezuela officials for their role in blocking the so-called, that's important there, the so-called humanitarian aid from entering the country over the weekend as the U.S. continues to ratchet up pressure on the government of President Nicolas Maduro. So here's what Pence said. Effective today, the United States will oppose additional sanctions on regime officials, including 3 border state governors implicated in last weekend's violence and a member of Maduro's inner circle. These men worked to block aid for people in need and suppressed peaceful protests. Sure. So, now keep in mind, we talked about this yesterday. If all the U.S. wanted to do was get humanitarian aid, if their whole intention was just to help the people there, there's other means they could have gone through to get that aid to Venezuela. They could have gone through other countries that weren't supporting an illegal coup. You know, if Venezuela's like, hey, you guys are supporting an illegal coup. You also have a history of doing some pretty lousy things in the name of aid, so we don't trust you. The United States could have been like, fair enough, we get that. We're going to go through this different channel, so they'll check, make sure everything's good, and then you'll know that we're just genuinely trying to do aid. The United States could have done that. They didn't. Why not? Probably because genuinely helping people and providing aid isn't their goal. Probably because they're trying to get weapons in there like they've done in the past. Also, the tone is shifting because here's another important part. EU says military intervention in Venezuela must be avoided. The European Union on Monday urged countries to avoid any military intervention in Venezuela. We must avoid a military intervention. What is explicitly quite clear from our point of view is that we need a peaceful, political, and democratic and Venezuelan-owned resolution of this crisis. This obviously excludes the use of force. But what does the United States want to do? Well, they want to get their, quote, aid in there, which probably is weaponry and more tools for complete unrest for the side of Juan Guaido. And what are they doing now? They're imposing even stricter sanctions. They're imposing even stricter sanctions to feed that unrest. Even though the European Union, people are saying no military intervention, the U.S. is doing everything they can to make sure that military intervention happens. And how often does the U.S. thumb their nose at the international community? Every single fucking time. So this could very well become the next Afghanistan. And it's a mess. And somehow people entertain this fantasy that it's going to be different this time. That this time's different. That Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, Somalia, Syria, Yemen. Somehow this time it's different. It's not going to be a disaster like all those. This time it's going to be different. They just need some democracy. They just happen to have oil.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your